For the last decade, Xbox has kind of been like the James Corden of gaming consoles, where it's a joke that's just sad. It doesn't make you laugh, it just makes you feel bad because Xbox used to be such a juggernaut. And it's no secret, Xbox has been struggling harder than me trying to reach something on the top shelf of my kitchen. They just have not been able to find their footing. They haven't really been flourishing in the gaming space for quite a while. And now it's looking like they're just getting put in the dirt. It looks like they're going straight to Valhalla. Phil Spencer is leaving Xbox, and he is being replaced by a new individual who has no experience in gaming whatsoever, at least nothing that is publicly available, and is basically solely AI driven, like all in on AI, which is about as exciting as getting kicked in the scrotum. This is just a recipe for disaster, especially considering most people can identify the solution to the Xbox problem. Their woes have a very glaring, obvious solve that would probably help them a lot. Most people can pin the tail on this donkey. Can you guess it? I'll hit you with the Door of the Explorer. More games. There was a time when Microsoft shut down more studios than games they released in the first half of 2024. Microsoft has become more known for shutting down studios than they have releasing games. So the Xbox problem is no games. How do you solve that? Games. Like, there's just no reason to own an Xbox when there's nothing that's really coming to it. So now you have someone who's in this position that doesn't have any relationship with games, like, in their history. So this problem is still seemingly going to go unsolved. For all of Phil Spencer's faults and, like, the missteps with Microsoft, it's pretty inarguable that Phil Spencer at least knew games. Like, he was in the games industry for decades. And even though, of course, he made some real wacky, Insano-style calls, especially with, like, fucking Redfall, Lord help us all, heavens to Betsy. Sometimes you'll still wake up with cold sweats remembering that disaster, that blunder. But even still, he at least had so much experience in the games industry, which this new leader does not. So let's kind of go through the whole thing. We'll start with Phil Spencer's departure here from Microsoft. He actually made a Twitter post about it saying, "It's rare in life to know when a chapter is closing, but after 38 years at Microsoft, that moment has arrived for me. I've made the decision to retire and begin the next chapter of my life. It's a milestone that's given me a chance to reflect on the incredible journey I've been fortunate enough to share with so many of you." Now, also, Xbox President Sarah Bond is leaving as well, so both Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are no longer with Xbox. Well, will soon be no longer with Xbox. It's a sweet, concise message just letting everyone know that he's sailing off into the sunset. And I think it makes a lot of sense here. He's been in this industry at this company for many decades now, many, many moons, and he wants to do something else. Totally understandable. I also imagine that the last few years at Microsoft here haven't been the most fun with everything that's been happening with Xbox. And Phil Spencer's been the face of Xbox. And recently, that face has been getting shoved in the toilet and they're flushing it. They're giving him a swirly because most people point the finger at Phil Spencer for all of the Microsoft and Xbox decisions that have been very poorly received. And he's been shouldering a lot of blame. I have to imagine that doesn't feel good, especially when there's a good chance some of those decisions weren't from the old noodle of Phil Spencer. It could have been calls made from elsewhere that maybe he didn't even agree with in the first place, but since he's the face of Xbox, the public would eat him alive for it. So I really do find it very understandable that he wants to step away from Xbox at this point in time and explore other aspects in his professional life outside of Microsoft. I'll quickly just dump my take in here. I also think a change in leadership at Xbox was warranted. Just look at how things have been going for Xbox for over a decade now. There's just been a huge problem with delivering games from so many of these studios that they have there, and things just haven't really been, the smoothest. So I do think there needed to be a leadership shakeup and, maybe a change in direction at the company. But I think the new captain of the kickball team here over at Xbox that they have chosen just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a gaming console whose biggest fucking problem is not having games. Now with Phil Spencer gone, and in his place steps Asha Sharma, who is currently the president at Microsoft's Core AI product, previously with Meta and previously with Instacart. No gaming background, but it seems like a strong focus on AI in her career recently. So now she's taken the Xbox Iron Throne, which is leaving a lot of people very skeptical because why would you hire a CEO of a gaming company who has no experience with gaming? It's a really weird fit. Now, there is a message from Asha Sharma. There is a memo that went out where she tries to kind of get ahead of like the AI stuff. So the first part of her message is talking about, how excited she is and thanking Phil and his leadership in the studios. And then she goes on to say, my first job is simple: understand what makes this work and protect it. That starts with 3 commitments. First, great games. Everything begins here. We must have great games beloved by players before we do anything. Unforgettable characters, stories that make us feel, innovate gameplay, and create excellence. And basically going on to say like how important great games are. Second, the return of Xbox. This is something Phil Spencer also said once or twice, if I remember correctly, and every time that this comes up, the return of Xbox, they make it sound like it's a fucking Jedi coming back. Yet, unfortunately, it still hasn't arrived, taken the scenic route. But she's highlighting the importance of bringing back, the former glory of Xbox with a recommitment to core Xbox fans and players that have invested with them for over 2 decades, celebrating the roots and renewed commitment. And then third, the future of play. We are witnessing the reinvention of play. That, to me, just feels like a bunch of mumbo-jumbo buzzword nonsense. I don't think there's a reinvention of play. People still just want to play good games. I don't think there's like a huge change in how they want to play those games. It's just a desire for games, which have been severely lacking with Xbox. To meet the moment, we will invent new business models and new ways to play by leaning into what we already have. Iconic teams, characters, and worlds that people love, but we will not treat these works as static IP to milk and monetize. We will build a shared platform and tools that empower developers and players to create and share their own stories. So, there's some good and bad in there. That's great that they don't want to just take beloved IP and characters and milk them till the tits fall off. That's good news. But that last sentence about developing a shared platform and tools to empower developers and players to create and share their own stories gives me the same DNA that Roblox and Fortnite have kind of pitched about like AI to make your own games in their game, which isn't very exciting to me. But maybe it is to a lot of other players. I'm not really sure, and I don't really think that'd be like the best direction to go. As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Okay, I mean, that sounds good, but I take it with a huge grain of salt considering it's coming from an executive who is extremely intertwined with AI. So I would be shocked if she actually does have this view of soulless AI slop being the enemy, considering her professional career for the last few years is all about AI in general. So I guess we'll wait and see there, but it'd be wonderful if the focus isn't on just farting out AI slop at Microsoft. That'd be great. Games are and always will be art crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us. The next 25 years belong to the teams who dare to build something surprising, something no one else is willing to try, and have the patience to see it through. We've done this before, and I am here to help us do it again. I want to return to the renegade spirit that built Xbox in the first place. It will require us to relentlessly question everything, revisit processes, protect what works, and be brave enough to change what does not. Thank you for welcoming me into this journey, Asha. Now, to me, a lot of that statement feels like hollow PR speak, where it's just standard PR drivel. We've got to return to the roots. It's all about the players. We can't be succumbing to the dark side of AI slop or anything like that. Which, it's hard to really be super enthusiastic considering this is a leader who for the last few years has been all about AI and profits, and profits by any means necessary. Like, it's not an amazing, like, exciting fit for a gaming company to have a leader who has no experience in their professional career with gaming. That makes it feel like this is a decision that is solely about trying to find ways to squeeze profits out of the Xbox, as opposed to trying to find ways to actually return the Xbox to its former glory. Because I imagine if you were looking for a leader to slot into Xbox for a new era of amazing games, to make it a powerful console player again, you would probably look for someone that actually has a passion for games itself. Like, I don't know, but that's just my 2 cents, and perhaps I'm on Fent for thinking that. Overall, it is just kind of hard to be excited about the future of Xbox, and I guess we'll see how it goes under this new leadership here. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.